Keep yourself in the loop of everything football on the Golden State Media Concepts Football Podcast. The latest news on and off the field, be it college football, Big Ten, SEC, Big 12, Pac-12, ACC to the NFL. We've got you covered. Listen to the Golden State Media Concepts Football Podcast.
Welcome to the GSMC Football Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I'm your host.
And by coffee.
Thank God for coffee. I had coffee on the way here. I'm your host, Jeff Malinoff, and with me
I have to have coffee.
Yeah, you have an addiction. I think you should see someone.
I'll get a headache if I don't have it.
Okay, that's actually a serious issue.
Yeah, that's what happens
you get a
when
headache?
you drink coffee like 4 or 5 days a week out of the week. Yeah.
I have it 4 or 5 days a week, and I don't get headaches.
Well, like when you don't drink it, don't you kind of feel like, I don't know, groggy? Like
No, well, because I haven't drink. I don't.
I bet you'll notice now that I mentioned it. It'll be like a Saturday, and you'll be like, "Why do I feel so lethargic?"
Yeah,
I haven't had my coffee.
I just eat like breakfast, like a normal person. Anyways,
What's that?
Shut up.
Breakfast.
Anyways, welcome everybody. We're going to talk about Kyler Murray and him declaring for the NFL draft. What does this mean for his MLB future, and where does this hold the NFL? As well as Chicago in their kicking challenge at a bar, as well as their opinions about Kareem Hunt and signing him this offseason. And what else we got on the agenda?
We're going to talk about Clemson and their visit to the White House.
And the delicious feast they were given.
Did you already mention Adam Gase? Because we're
Oh, yes, Adam Gase in his press conference. We're definitely going to talk about that for a good 15 minutes.
We're going to talk about Antonio Brown.
Oh, yeah.
Wide receivers in general. We'll talk about that. So, yeah, first, though, it's all about Kyler Murray and his decision to, sounds like he's going to be entering the NFL draft. He can turn around and go back. He has 72 hours to back out. I don't know why he would back out, but he does have that opportunity. So, what does this mean? Is this a big deal for football? Is this for NFL, I guess? Is this a bigger deal for baseball? There's kind of this push and pull. Now we're hearing that Major League Baseball approved the Oakland A's to offer him more money. So they're actually kind of circumventing the rules a little bit in Major League Baseball because of the possibility of him keeping him there and not going to the NFL.
They are making it, what's the word?
Attractive?
Yes.
Lucrative?
They are being desperate, I think is the better word.
Does Kyler Murray even want to play baseball if he's asking for a lot? Like if he's not asking the NFL, right?
Yeah, he's because he knows what the NFL is going to get.
Well, he knew what he was getting from the A's, and it's not enough. So it kind of signals that he's wanting to play football.
Because NFL is paying way more than the MLB is going to.
Maybe. Yeah, it's close. I mean, it's negligible, but he doesn't want to go to MLB and sit in the minor leagues for a couple years. That's for sure.
Yeah.
You know what's funny?
And
some people keep saying this, and I don't know that it's true. Play baseball. You make more money playing baseball. That's like the common thing, right?
Well, you got to be good in the MLB and then be able to make $400 million.
So the thing is, that's what people say, though, right? Like the common knowledge is baseball pays more, right?
Yeah, and it's safer.
But no, that is inarguable. Baseball is absolutely safer.
Yeah,
no problem. But I kind of don't know if baseball pays more. It does if you're the top guys. If you're
Carlos
Bryce Harper, who's about to get $350 million,
or Stanton with $325, or Machado.
Does baseball in general pay more? And this is let me throw in some facts for you for a minute. If you're a first round pick in the NFL, even if you're a second or third round pick in the NFL, you might make some decent money on your first contract, right? You might make, let's say you're a second or third round pick. At the end of your second or third round pick deal, you're still going to be, you still have made a few $1 million. You might not make $1 million a year, but 3 or 4 years, let's say $800,000 a year, you're going to make a couple million, right?
Yeah.
Baseball, you have to work up until you get that big contract. You could spend 10 years playing in the minors and on your first contract before you hit that big payday. So you have to put in kind of a lot of time most of the time before you hit that big. Now that big payday could be $200 million. We just talked about it. It could be $300 million. It could be $400 million. But that's like not the norm. Like that's not the norm.
You got to be a star.
Yeah. Like for example, I heard this example the other day on TV. Jeff Samardzija. Jeff Samardzija chose to play baseball over football, right? Notre Dame wide receiver and current San Francisco Giants Major League Baseball pitcher. He got a $100 million contract for being a decent pitcher. Not a great pitcher. He was decent. He is decent when he's healthy. Now, it still took him like 8 years to get $100 million. Like he had a lot of years where he was in the minor leagues. And he had like 3 or 4 years in the minor leagues, and then he had 3 or 4 years on his
You got to be
deal.
patient in baseball to get that big contract.
Right. So, like, when people say you make more money in baseball, you do if you're the top guy. But what if you flounder in the minor leagues for 4 years, and then you're not good on your first?
Oh, yeah. No.
Then you're never going to get a big payday. Now, in football, Kyler Murray, if he's a first-round pick, he's getting paid, and he's going to be on the field right away, and he's going to get endorsements right away. Like, the dude is going to be paid at least a lot of money.
Rookies get those commercials like, I'm going to be this.
Baker Mayfield's already rolling in the dough. Like, Baker Mayfield's rolling in it. What was that commercial Baker Mayfield did before the year last year? The tiger and the underwear commercial?
Wait, what?
He had a tiger, and he's, like, standing in underwear. You don't remember
I
this?
don't remember this, and I kind of don't want to. Don't pull it up.
What do you mean? It's an ad.
I don't want to see him in his underwear with that tiger.
I could have sworn that's what the ad was, but I could be wrong.
I hope not. I hope you're wrong.
Yeah, it was this. It was that ad, right, when he got signed.
Oh, yeah, that was weird. He was next to a car and all. Yeah, that was weird.
It's an underwear commercial. It's a PSD underwear.
That didn't make people like him anymore, did it?
Well, if you win, you win.
Yeah, I guess.
Oddly enough, he's like really good friends with Christian Yelich, which I don't understand, but they met and they're really good friends.
I mean, sometimes you hit it off with people. It makes sense.
It's just weird because they're not like from the same area. They don't play in the same area. It's just.
I mean, you meet a lot of these. What's the word? You meet a lot of these other athletes when you're doing stuff, so it makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Anyways, Kyler Murray.
Yes.
The thing is about him is that what will he measure at his height? What will he be measured at?
He turns out to be 4'11". People are like, what?
If he's 5'8", is he still a first-round pick? That is the question.
Someone's gonna take a chance. That's what I'm gonna say.
I think so too, because it only takes one team. It only takes one team. We didn't think the Raiders were going to get a first-round pick for Amari Cooper, and they weren't until Jerry Jones said, "Not so fast." So, Kyler Murray. What if he measures at 5'10"? What would be the number that he needs to be at to be like, okay, this guy's going in the top 5?
5'11".
Yeah, he's not gonna.
I know,
5'11".
but he's still probably going to be considered up there.
Russell Wilson is the current shortest quarterback in the NFL, and he stands at 5'11". Do you think he looks like he's 5'11"?
No.
You know what's funny? Russell Wilson, Drew Brees.
Mm-hmm.
They're two of the better quarterbacks in the NFL at not getting passes batted down. And I just watched Andrew Luck get like 87 passes batted down the other day. I know I'm exaggerating. But how many times did Andrew Luck throw a ball that got batted down the other day in the playoff game?
22 times, roughly?
A lot of times. Like his first 8 passes, I think 6 of them were knocked down or at least tipped at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
It was insane.
It was pretty surreal how often that ball got tipped. It was like he was a waitress.
Maybe.
He got so many tips.
Hey, here's a theory for you. Maybe it's harder to tip a pass from a shorter quarterback because you can't see him.
So he's John Cena?
You can't see him. So, like, if you can't see the ball coming your way, how are you going to tip the pass, right? But
Yeah,
if you're
true.
a defensive lineman looking at a tall quarterback, you're just like, I see what you're doing. I see what you're doing. You're over there. Now you're throwing it over there, and I'm just going to raise my hand. Anyways.
You're just doing this, hopefully, and the ball gets to you.
You're like waving for a fair catch.
But how he played at Oklahoma, this kid's special. There's something special about him, you know?
But
And
is he Johnny Manziel or is he Baker Mayfield? That is the question.
He is more towards Baker Mayfield, in my opinion, than he is Johnny Manziel. Johnny Manziel had a lot of issues. Let's get real. And people were very concerned about that going into the draft.
Mm-hmm.
This guy doesn't really have a lot of concern about his character.
No, it's mostly just how his game will translate to the NFL.
Yeah, true. But I think he could do well. I really do.
Does he have a strong enough arm?
When I saw him play against Alabama, some of his throws were pretty darn insane and very far off the run, not even set.
Does he have? Can he take the hit? This guy is going to be smaller than Doug Flutie. I just want to point that out. I'm not saying he can't do it. I think he can do it. I like the kid.
I think he's capable.
But he is smaller than Doug Flutie. Well, just think about that for a minute, because Doug Flutie has always been the quarterback in my head, in my brain, that I think of when I think of tiny quarterbacks. Like when I think of I feel like Doug Flutie's like the Rudy of the NFL. You know?
Yeah, but Doug Flutie, he played in the CFL, dominated there, and played in the USFL. And he then had a pretty good run with the Bills.
Yeah, he was fine.
The Bills was his best, kind of era. But I don't know. I just see this as a potential to be great, a great story. So what? No.
Right. It has the potential to be a great story, but are you willing to sacrifice your next 3-4 years for this great story, or do you need to have a
YOLO?
Or do you need to have a little bit more? I don't know. Security in terms of who you're drafting. Do you like him more than Haskins? Haskins played really well.
I know
and he has a good arm, and he's 6'3".
But again, this is the one thing that's going to get me. Heisman Trophy winners recently have been cursed.
Well, Baker won, right?
Okay. Besides, he's only had 1 year.
Cursed how?
They usually don't have RG3 had a great first year, and look what happened to him. They don't turn out to be these stars anymore. The last great star that was a Heisman winner was.
You know, it's funny you bring up RG3 because RG3 is somebody that you could kind of compare Kyler Murray to. RG3 is undersized. He's not as small as Murray, but
he was the second overall pick.
Problem with RG3 is that he couldn't hold up, right?
Yeah, but it wasn't really his fault. He kind of was pressured a lot by Washington. I just
mean his size, although he's 6'2", that's weird. He doesn't look 6'2".
6 foot, 7 foot, 8 foot. No, okay. What I say is, I say take the chance. I'm going to say take the opportunity.
So what team should take the chance? Of the quarterback needy teams in the top 15 picks?
Jacksonville. I really think Jacksonville's the one.
Not the Giants?
Haskins might be better off with the Giants to me. I really do.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know.
What about Denver?
Denver.
Miami? Washington?
I can see Haskins in Miami. I can see a lot of them in Florida. I mean, they all need one in Florida. I mean, do you really want to trust Jameis Winston? I mean...
Well, the Bucks are going with Jameis Winston.
I know, but do you think he'll survive this season is what I'm saying.
That's a good question, but if there is a coach that can do it, it's Bruce Arians. So, we'll see.
Bruce Arians is a very good coach. I'm not going to deny that one bit.
So, let's see. Adam Gase. All the jokes today, all the jokes yesterday on Twitter, sports radio. It's all about Adam Gase and his bombing of his introductory press conference.
Right.
Because of his crazy eye situation. Now, I got to ask you, was he being held hostage? Was he trying to communicate
Was he
with
giving
us?
Morse code? Like,
Was he
blinking?
communicating with people like, these people
Help
are holding me against my will?
Well, he is on the Jets, after all.
What was up with him, man? Was he on drugs?
I wouldn't be surprised. It looked like he was on some sort of hallucinogen.
I've seen all the memes. They're pretty good. Was
Yes.
he like... I just want to know what drugs he was on. I think at this point he was...
But is that his natural eyesight?
I've never seen him look like that. If that's how he naturally is, then that's a problem because I never saw him like that on the sideline. I never saw it. I feel like we would have known by now, in the age of social media, we would know if somebody's normal look was that, right? Like it's not like 1982 where like maybe a team doesn't play on TV and we don't know what the coach looks like. Like it's 2019. We know what every coach looks like.
Oh my God, it's 2019.
We know what every coach looks like. We know every coach. Is there a coach in the NFL we don't know who he looks like? Honestly, can you name one coach that you have no idea what he looks like?
Well, I would have said Adam Gase, but now it's embedded in my brain.
I don't know what Zach Taylor looks like. He hasn't been officially named the Bengals head coach. I don't know what he looks like, but I know everybody else.
LaFleur? The Browns. What's his name?
Freddie Kitchens?
Yeah, Kitchens.
He's a big dude.
Is he the big one with the mustache? Or no?
He has like a facial hair. Like I think he has like the mustache goatee look.
Wait, is he the coach with like a lot of roles? I hate to say that.
Yeah, he's a big guy.
Okay. No disrespect. I'm just trying to...
He's more Andy Reid than Sean McVay.
Come on, give Andy Reid some credit. He's lost some weight.
Andy Reid. Unfortunate that he was sadly brought into the whole White House Clemson memes last yesterday.
Oh, because of the fast food jokes. That's right.
Unfortunate, innocent bystander. He
did nothing wrong because he's such a great coach, but his look is that's wrong.
I saw
if he wins this Super Bowl.
I saw a meme that was like Andy Reid's already accepted the invitation from the White House.
Yeah, but also, why would you give the national champions?
We'll talk about that later.
That's the most.
Don't kill it yet. We'll tease it though.
I'll stab it in the heart. Anyways,
do you think Adam Gase, that was the face that you make when you realize, hey, I don't have to play Belichick anymore? Oh crap, we're still in the same division.
That's the look you get when I'm on the New York Jets. Just the Jets. I think Jets fans will agree with me. Your team is just this aura of bad luck.
I think the Jets are a good bounce back team next year.
No.
You don't think they'll get at least second place in that division next year?
I love that's the bounce back, second place.
Well, I mean, they could make the playoffs. Look at the AFC. Okay, hold on. Let me talk to you about this. I understand what you're saying. The Jets are not the model franchise. Okay, I get it. Got it. Who in the AFC East, other than the Patriots, is any good and will be good next year? Do you believe in the Bills?
No.
The Dolphins have already openly stated, we don't care about next season. We are looking at the 2020 draft.
Dude, honestly, that's probably the time where Belichick and Brady retire.
Have you ever heard of a team tanking in the NFL before the season starts? I see it in the NBA.
Hear me out. If you believe that Belichick and Brady are going to be gone by 2020, wouldn't you aim for that? Because there's
no. I'm not saying they're wrong. I'm just saying in that division, Jeff, they are basically competing with the Bills for second place. The Bills, not the Patriots are going to win the division until Brady and Belichick retire. Let's just get that out of the way. Now, the Dolphins are openly stating we are going to lose as much as possible next year because we're looking at the 2020 quarterback class of Herbert, of what's the kid, Tua. We're looking at that quarterback class. They are openly telling people, or anybody who wants to listen, we don't care about next year. I've never heard of an NFL team just flat out saying that next year we're not trying to win.
They haven't said it publicly, but it's been rumored.
Yes.
But
they basically said it publicly without having a press conference.
Yeah. But I will say, I mean, what else are you going to do? I think they know they cannot make the
Jets,
playoffs.
I think Adam Gase is in a good position. He's got a young quarterback. I'm not a huge Sam Darnold fan, but I thought he was impressive in his rookie season. I thought he was the second most impressive rookie quarterback.
He has so much. He has a lot of potential. Don't get me wrong.
Look how well he did at the end of the season last year. And you know what? If he gets a receiver other than Robbie Anderson, if he gets another running back, this year they were just beaten up with injuries like Bilal Powell, Isaiah Crowell. Like if they get a running back, if they can surround him with a couple if they have a good draft, I could easily see the Jets being a playoff team next year. Who in the AFC is a playoff team? The Chargers, decent team. They're a good team. I don't think the Chargers are going to be back next year. I really don't.
What's changing?
I don't think they're coached very well, and I think it's really hard in the NFL to be really good back-to-back seasons without being coached very well. I just feel that way.
Okay.
As a head coach,
I
know you're saying what's changing. Philip Rivers is also 38 years old next year and has never won anything. Like maybe he doesn't.
Brady is 41 and
has won a lot of things.
Well, Philip Rivers arguably had the best season of his career this season.
Yes, he did. And are we expecting him to have that good of a year next year? I won't bet on it.
I'll say he'll have a good year. I'll say he have a positive year.
Keenan Allen was also healthy for a whole season for the first time ever.
Yes.
I mean, I'm not saying the Chargers can't do it, but I don't think Anthony Lynn is the greatest coach in the world. It's really hard to go back to the playoffs and do that well again.
What he made, the biggest mistake he made was keeping the same offense for Lamar Jackson and Tom Brady. Why on earth would you think Tom Brady and Lamar Jackson are even in the same breath? No disrespect to Lamar Jackson whatsoever, but comparing them two is wrong because they're both completely different quarterbacks.
I saw one coach, Bill Belichick, completely dismantle the other coach. And now, let's be honest. Bill Belichick has dismantled a lot of coaches in his career, but Anthony Lynn, I don't know, man. I'm not saying the Chargers can't go back, but I would be a little bit surprised. Okay, so who else? The Ravens, they won their division. The Steelers, they missed the playoffs. They're looking at turmoil. The Bengals, no, I don't think so.
Mm-hmm.
Tennessee.
I could see Tennessee.
Houston or Indianapolis, maybe
Definitely
one of those teams.
Houston.
I think Houston could fall apart. I mean, at least go backwards. Who knows? I don't think Houston's that good. I feel like they're a very overrated team, but they're all right.
Okay.
The Jets have a chance. I'm just saying Adam Gase, I think the Jets are in a better situation than about half the teams in the AFC.
Yeah. But
I know you're big on the Browns, but they're the Browns. Until they prove that they can win more than 5 or 6 games, I don't want to hear it. You know what I mean? Like, I get it. They got a young quarterback. He looks promising. They got a running back that looks promising. They got some defensive players, but we'll see.
I think there's a lot of potential AFC contenders for playoffs.
All right, so I'll tell you the teams that I think the Jets are better than right now. You ready?
Okay, go.
Raiders.
Okay.
Bills.
Wait.
We're talking about the Jets. So
okay.
Raiders, Bills, Dolphins, Bengals. Until otherwise, Jacksonville. Until otherwise. Jacksonville needs a quarterback. Now, if they get Foles or something like that, I'll change. I'll tell you Jacksonville's better for sure.
Okay.
Tennessee is right there with the Jets.
Yes.
They're better than Denver. Until Keenum is gone, they're in a better situation than Denver, in my opinion. I mean, that's 6 teams already. That's half the AFC right there, you know? So we'll see. We'll see. Adam Gase,
but you know how many times a team comes literally out of nowhere and just has a great season?
Could be the Jets.
Or any other team in the NFL.
No, I know, but the Jets, I think, would be a sneaky pick.
Okay.
We should go to a break.
We should.
We got to talk about Antonio Brown, the latest on him. And is it necessary to have an elite wide receiver to be a good team? We'll talk about it when we return.
Are you looking for help for your fantasy football team? Check out the GSMC Fantasy Football Podcast. Get today's best advice on who to start, who to sit, even who you should draft. From sleeper picks to red-hot lineups, they got it all covered for you. That's gsmcpodcast.com/fantasy-football-podcast. We'll cover traditional leagues, dynasty, PPR, even IDP leagues. When you need fantasy help, there's just one show to hit up. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit gsmcpodcast.com for more info.
Welcome back to the GSMC's football podcast. We just finished talking about Kyler Murray in the NFL draft, as well as what else? Oh, Adam Gase and his weird press conference that his image of his eyes are still haunting my nightmares. Anyways, let's move on. You said we were going to talk about Antonio Brown. Let's talk about Antonio Brown. Apparently, Jerry Rice, the greatest receiver of all time, arguably. It's kind of hard to.
It's arguable.
I don't think it's arguable either, but you got to say that, and just you can't be biased like that.
He's the GOAT.
Yeah, he is the GOAT. But anyways, he was FaceTiming Antonio Brown, and apparently he says Antonio Brown wants to play for the 49ers very badly. Quote, very badly. And do you think this is just Antonio Brown trying to butter up Jerry Rice, or do you think it's a fact?
Sure. I think Antonio Brown would like to play for the 49ers. I don't think he would act this way if he didn't. I mean, it's obviously more than just this FaceTime conversation.
Private FaceTime conversation.
We've seen Antonio Brown flirting with 49ers players, you could say. Yeah, so sure. I could definitely see that he'd want to go play in the NFC for Kyle Shanahan, for, live in the Bay Area. I mean, there's worse places to go, let me tell you that. Who wouldn't want to play in Santa Clara rather than Pittsburgh? I mean, are you kidding me?
It's a much nicer area for sure.
I know some Steelers fans are like, are you kidding me? We're the best franchise. Yeah. Anyways. Yeah, but the fact is the Steelers aren't just going to give Antonio Brown away. And will the Niners be the team that pays the best price for Antonio Brown? So that remains to be determined.
Can you trade with money as well?
I don't believe you can, but I'm not 100% on that.
Because that $20 million cap hit you're talking about, maybe with that you add money to the trade.
What kind of money would you think if you can do it?
Just cancel out the $20 million. That's what I'm saying.
So the Niners would give them $20 million, take Antonio Brown, and what else would they give the Steelers?
I would say like a third or fourth round pick.
That would, I don't know if they could do that within the rules, but that would mean the Niners could not pretty much sign anybody in free agency if they were to do that. Would
they
that
still
be
have
worth it?
$38 million in cap space?
So they have about $60 million, but you have to realize that you have to pay Antonio Brown his
I'm just coming
million.
up with ideas is all.
No, I know. But what you're saying is, your theory is you pay the Steelers $20 million, but then you still have to pay Antonio Brown $17 million. So you're $37 million under for the year for that move. So it would leave you about $20 million, and you have to sign your draft picks, which is about $10 million. So you have $10 million to spend in free agency, and I don't know.
But if you get the best wide receiver in football,
yeah, that's going to be
and
the
an elite
argument.
defender in the draft at the number 2 pick.
Well, that's the theory. You'd have to hit on it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if
it's an interesting topic.
let's say that money it cannot be traded.
Okay.
What would you trade if you're the 49ers for Antonio Brown?
That's a tough one.
They have the number 2 pick. That's the thing.
They're
Their
not
pick is so high.
They're not giving up this first round pick, but maybe next year's first and this year's third.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a good enough deal.
If you're the Steelers, is that worth it knowing that you have to pay $21 million, which means that you lose your best player plus the chance at signing a big-time free agent for next year's first-round pick and this year's third round.
Mm-hmm.
Like, would that be worth it?
I think it might be because they have the quarterback, they have their running back back.
But wouldn't Ben just retire if they made that trade?
Yeah,
because he doesn't want to wait till next. You know what I mean? He wants to win this year, right?
Well, he should have retired like 2 years ago when he considered it in the first place. So
that seems like a move that you make if you're punting the season. You know, like I'm not saying it's a bad move. I'm just saying like, well, guys, we're not really going to do anything this offseason. We're just kind of banking on next year working out for us.
Yeah, because I feel like Bell's gone as well. If Bell and Antonio Brown leave, is there any hope for Ben Roethlisberger to stay? I think if they both leave, I think it's rebuilding time.
I think he'll stay.
But you think he'll stay if they're both gone?
I think that if they made a move that signaled that they're not really going for it this year, then maybe not.
Okay. It's definitely it'll definitely 100% be up to Ben Roethlisberger what he thinks the outcomes will be.
Yeah. So how likely would you say it's that Brown gets traded before that June deadline? Like after, I think it's likely, but before, is it likely at all?
You got to get something very in like we're trading you everything you ever wanted and more, but you have to trade us before this date.
I think even if Brown's a pain in the ass, like he's not gonna, you know what I mean? Like he's not gonna get traded before then, you know? Like who's out there gonna trade? Who's gonna trade their best player plus take that huge of a cap hit? Like that just seems like.
Like I said, it's got to be something incredibly attractive. It's got to be like supermodel-esque.
Supermodel-esque. All right. Are elite wide receivers necessary to win?
Let's see the dynasties in the NFL. You have the Steelers in the 70s had Lynn Swann. You have the Cowboys in the 90s who had Michael Irvin.
Lynn Swann an elite wide receiver?
Are you kidding? Yeah.
Okay.
I'm
not kidding. Is that common knowledge that he is a top
Hall of Fame wide receiver.
Right. He's a Hall of Famer.
He's had some iconic plays. So yeah, I would say he's elite.
Okay.
The 80s, the Niners had Jerry Rice. And in the 90s as well. In the 90s, the Cowboys had Michael Irvin.
Is he elite? He was good.
Yeah, he was really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now in the 2000s, the Patriots, when they had an elite wide receiver in Randy Moss, they went undefeated.
Mm-hmm.
So I say yes.
And then they lost.
Okay, not Randy Moss's fault.
They lost.
That was the defense's fault.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be a hater. Why are you so negative?
What do you mean?
It's like I'm saying all these positive things. They go, and they lost. They still went undefeated throughout the season. They got to the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
They could have won the Super Bowl if that interception was made before the helmet catch.
Anyways, so
yes, I say elite receiver can help you get to the Super Bowl. And if it's like the 49ers, like we're talking about, they have Jimmy Garoppolo, who's supposed to be this next franchise quarterback, and they're having their running back return, Tarek McKinnon, who's a very good running back, and they also have Matt Breida, who's averaging. Okay,
I'm just trying to. No. You've made a point. I'm just saying. Of the last, I don't know, 20, 25 Super Bowl teams, let's just do 20 because that seems like NFL is different in the 90s. How many teams had elite receivers that won Super Bowls? It's not too many, right? The Patriots never had an elite wide receiver when they won a Super Bowl. They did have Randy Moss the year that they got there.
Would you go Deion Branch? That's why I said in that voice.
Even when the Steelers won the Super Bowl,
it's Antonio Holmes.
Yeah,
not Super Bowl was elite.
Not elite. Not even close. They had Hines Ward, who was a decent player. He was good. He wasn't elite, but he was good. He was a good player. Good, tough player. Who else? The Broncos. Who was the Broncos receivers? Demaryius Thomas, and that's it.
Demaryius Thomas was elite at that time.
He's all right. He's good.
Okay.
Elite's like, I don't know. Maybe.
Okay.
Carolina was in the Super Bowl. They didn't win. Seattle? No.
I wouldn't tell you any of them were elite. Maybe.
They had Golden Tate. And
I was going to say maybe him. But
they had Doug Baldwin. Yeah. Baltimore when they won? No.
I was saying, the Baltimore.
They had Anquan Bolden, but he was well past his prime.
Yeah. He still played pretty darn well.
They also had that fast receiver, too, who scored a touchdown, but he wasn't that good. Jones.
Yeah. Julio Jones? They didn't win, but they got to the Super Bowl because of him.
The Eagles last year? Alshon Jeffrey's pretty good. I wouldn't say elite, though, right?
He was elite at one point.
Yeah, he's good. He's top half in the NFL, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. But
yeah, it's just hard.
Having an elite receiver doesn't hurt.
It doesn't hurt. The problem is that how much are you willing to pay for one,
Good point.
That's the thing. It's not that you don't want them. It's just like,
Antonio Brown.
Are you willing to pay?
But Antonio Brown is really, really, really
But
good.
are you willing to pay a wide receiver $15 to $20 million a year when I feel like other positions might be more important, like defensive end, cornerback?
Well, who is a defensive end that's available in the off season free agent market?
Well, as of right now, DeMarcus Lawrence and Jadeveon Clowney will be available.
You don't think they're going to re-sign?
They'll probably both get franchise tagged, I would assume.
At least, yeah.
Although there is some rumors that Clowney might get traded.
For what?
I have no idea.
What do you trade?
I don't know. There's just some rumors that he may become available. I don't think he will. You don't trade pass rushers, really. You don't trade them.
All right,
unless you're the Raiders.
If you're on a trade block, if he is on there, what do you get for him?
You probably get a first-round pick. I'd feel more comfortable giving up a first-round pick for a defensive end pass rusher than a wide receiver, but you do have to pay Clowney because he would be. You can franchise him.
Do you think is he as good as the number 1 overall pick as he was at Command?
I wouldn't trade the number 1 overall pick for him, but I would for sure.
Well, I meant do you think he's worth that when Texans picked him number 1 overall?
Oh, I think he's great. Yeah, he's really good.
Okay.
I'm one of the best defensive ends in the NFL, for sure.
He's kind of underrated in all things considered.
Yeah, I think playing for Houston, too, you don't get as much recognition, Plus, it's J.J. Watt's team, so that's a thing. J.J. Watt and Deshaun Watson kind of stole the spotlight, or Clowney's he's not the face of that franchise, right? Mm-hmm. Khalil Mack,
well, it's obviously there's only one guy that
Khalil Mack is the star of the Bears, but Deshaun Watson and J.J. Watt are the stars of the Texans.
If you look at the face of the Bears, Khalil Mack's got to be the face.
Yeah. Khalil Mack.
J.J. Watt's obviously the face. If you had to pick one face, it would be the face. Well, you can put DeAndre Hopkins in the star category for the Texans.
Hopkins is for sure, I would say, slightly behind Watt and Watson.
But he's up there.
Yeah. Because Hopkins is for sure a star, but J.J. Watt is the face of that franchise. And then
100%.
Watson is the new
Watt
kid.
Was there first.
And Watson's the Heisman.
Watson's the next face.
Yeah, Watson is
actually,
I'm the dude.
I think the next face will be the pairing of Watson and Hopkins because they both go hand in hand.
Yeah.
But Watt, hands down, is the heart and soul and face of that team.
Yeah.
He was there first. He got them where they are 100%. There's no question.
All right.
That's like saying Ray Lewis is the face of the Ravens when he was there.
Yeah. Anyways, we should take a break. We'll come back, talk about the Chicago Bears. Some interesting news about the Bears.
Oh, yes. We just talked about the Bears. Speaking of the Bears, we'll talk about the Bears. Bears.
Check out the show that's built on the MMA. From the UFC to extreme cage fighting, they got the fights covered. Check out the GSMC MMA podcast. Get the latest news on past or upcoming fights. Join us as we talk to and about some of the biggest names in the MMA, past, present, and future. When it's the fight game, there's just one show to check out. GSMCpodcast.com/MMA-podcast. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit GSMCpodcast.com for more info.
Welcome back to the GSMC Football Podcast, and now we're going to talk about the Bears, like we said in the preview. As for the Bears, they did that. One of the bars in Chicago did that 43-yard field goal for free beer, which is actually illegal, federal law, you say. Mm-hmm. And so it was like what, tickets to the games or something like that?
Yeah. So Goose Island Brewery, they were doing that field goal challenge.
That's a cool name for a bar.
They're doing the field goal challenge, saying that anybody who thinks that kicking a 43-yard field goal is easy, come out and try. They set up some goalposts. They set up a physical barrier, too, to kind of look like a pass rusher. And some unfortunate guy got kicked in the nuts.
Oh yeah. He was on the left side of him. And he kicked it with his... Okay, I'm sorry. You should not expect... He was literally sideways to him, and yet the ball went and hit him in the nuts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was like...
How is that possible?
Was he like a security guard or something? He was like a security guard or somebody, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so only one person got close. He missed by about 2 feet. It was long enough. He would have kicked it. He actually would have made it from like 50.
But the rest, not even close.
He would have made it from 50, which led head coach of the Chicago Bears, Matt Nagy, to offer him a tryout.
Wait, really?
No.
Oh. I was like, I mean, I wouldn't have been surprised, but...
He was like, wait, how far was that? Call him up. Tell him to come in.
Okay, hold on. 1, 2...
So,
what's the area code for Chicago?
I don't know.
Well, how am I supposed to call him?
Anyways, that was a segue into Matt Nagy not being happy with current kicker Cody Parkey. Yes, he did miss the field goal. They did lose, but that's not the reason why he is unhappy with Parkey. Parkey went on television just 5 days after the miss and talked about it, and Nagy wasn't too happy. He was saying that, we all win as a team, we all lose as a team, and that seemed like what Cody did going on TV was a me thing and not a we thing. What is your reaction to that?
I kind of see what he's getting at, because it wasn't like a team. It was like he did it on his own volition. Like he didn't.
Does it really matter, though?
It really doesn't, no.
I mean, like,
but I understand what he means.
Who cares? Like, he's talking about it. You're talking about stuff, too. I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah, I get what
he didn't throw anybody into the butt. It wasn't like he was like, oh, yeah, we lost because our team didn't score. It wasn't my fault. Like, he didn't say anything out of line, in my opinion. But
yeah, I get it.
Jeff, how many times would you have been able to? How many tries would you have needed to make the field goal in that challenge? Be completely honest.
Give me 10.
The one thing I did think was
and give me like an hour of leg curls before I kick it.
One thing that I did find weird was that they had the dudes kick on like the iciest part of the thing. Like everybody slipped. Everybody.
Yeah, it was kind of like they planned for failure. They sabotaged it. It was on ice, not a grass field. Why couldn't they put a grass like square on the field?
I would have been pissed because I think I would have nailed it. And then they would have been like, "Oh, we're not giving you free beer for a year." And I would have been like, "Are you serious?"
Yeah, that's seriously. I would have been a little PO'd. I would like, I just made a 43-yard field goal in the no-degree weather in front of all these people that are telling me these horrible, offensive things, and I can't even get beer. Mm-hmm. Why not one free drink? I know that's federal
Believe
law.
it or not, I actually did kick for my high school football team.
What was your average? Like, how many did you make to miss?
That I don't know, but 43, well within the distance.
All right.
43 is like if you can kick a soccer ball pretty hard, 43 yards is.
Yeah, I mean, well, so that's why so many
You don't
soccer
need it,
players
yeah.
play in the NFL because they
Yeah.
know how to kick a ball.
After 50, then it starts getting a little bit tough. I'd say the longest that I could hit in high school is probably like 56. I didn't make one in a game. I didn't get a chance to kick that far in a game, but like, just kicking.
73 yards is all up
That
to
was
you,
what
Mark.
Janikowski did, right? Didn't Janikowski hit the high school record? It was like 74 yards.
Yeah,
But you
and-
kick off the little thing. You kick off the little T thing.
Yeah, it was and you're not allowed to block it or anything like that. It was
Yeah, you
some
can
weird
block it.
Oh, was it? Oh! I
But
see.
in high school,
I
they,
see what
they
you're. Yeah,
set it on that little T.
I
thing.
see what you're saying. Didn't he also try like a 77-yard attempt in the NFL? Something ridiculous like that with the Raiders.
Mm-hmm.
That is absurd.
Yeah.
Do you think so one day someone will kick a 100-yard field goal?
No. 100? Well, maybe. no.
Like at least attempt it. Say screw it.
The crazy thing is that the 63-yard, that was a record for a long, long time.
Then 64 got broken.
Yeah.
Or broken by a 64.
What was the guy
yard.
who had the record, though?
There was like 3 or 4.
With the half foot?
Oh, the straight foot kicker. I'm not sure, but there was like 4 or 5 different kickers that made it 63. I know Jason Elam did it. I know David Akers did it.
Tom Dempsey.
Tom Dempsey.
1970. So he had the record. He had the record until Matt Prater hit it on. Matt Prater hit the 64. In 2013.
That's right.
So
It's
Tom Dempsey had it for a long time. He had the record for 43 years.
43 years. Well, people tied it. They just didn't break it. I'm going to say
Right.
that.
But
Obviously.
still, like, that's a long time to have it,
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But, of course, you got to look at the fact that he had a half a foot.
You want to know some crazy stuff?
Mm-hmm.
When Tom Dempsey made that kick, 63 yards, you want to know what the record was that he broke?
Like 43.
56.
Oh, that's actually not that bad.
That's still quite a big difference, though. 7 yards.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Now, like, everybody's trying to get, like, 1 yard more. Like 64,
well,
65.
yeah, you gotta take what you can get, right?
Yes. Jason Elam tied it, but do you really count him? He did it in Mile High.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. He did it in Denver.
Yeah. Also, David Akers did it in Wisconsin.
What's his name did it too? Janikowski, when he did it, was in Mile High too. Oh, that doesn't count. Tom Dempsey's a true GOAT.
So you're saying if it's in Mile High Stadium, it's
David
Lloyd.
Akers did it in Green Bay.
That's what I just said.
Yeah.
Do you ever listen to me?
Not
this
really.
relationship is falling apart. If we're ever gonna
Lambeau
be
is 640 feet above sea level. Sports Authority Field at Mile High is 5,200 feet. That is insane. You want to know what the...
it bounced off the goalpost, if you remember.
You want to know what the... how high he was in Tulane Stadium where Tom Dempsey made it? 16 feet.
Then we got to avoid that. If it's not at 0, then it doesn't count.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's the rules.
Mm-hmm. Anyways. Lefty kickers for the win, by the way.
I am a lefty kicker also.
There you go.
Yeah, lefty kickers.
David Akers was pretty good.
Was he a lefty?
He was.
All right, then I like him. Who else was lefty?
Wait, you don't remember when he made that kick?
I do remember. He bounced off the goalpost.
But you don't remember that he's a lefty? Like, that's a very obvious thing to know, right?
I just don't pay attention to that kind of thing.
Janikowski's also lefty.
I knew that because every time he kicked a field goal, I see.
I think Greg Zuerlein might have the biggest leg in the NFL.
How tall is he?
How tall is Greg Zuerlein?
He has the biggest leg, so how tall is he?
I have no idea how long his leg is.
Then how is he the
Biggest. Biggest doesn't necessarily mean
all right?
long.
How width? Was his quads huge?
I don't know. I'll have to get the measuring tape.
All right, let's get him on the show. We'll measure his thighs.
Speaking of the Bears, though,
What about him?
they did not rule out that they would pursue Kareem Hunt. Now,
Okay.
is this a thing or is this
Oh,
a media thing?
Hold up, just real quick. I just got word that Eagles choose Wentz over Foles officially. Doug Peterson confirms Carson Wentz will be Eagles starting QB moving forward. So Foles, it's official.
Yeah.
That was the question for a long time. So, yeah, that is a big deal because of the fact now Foles is going to be on the market most likely. And he's going to be
Redskins or Giants got to come calling, in my opinion.
He's going to be a very hot commodity for sure.
If I'm the New York Giants, I make the move. If I'm the Washington Redskins, I make the move.
If you're the Jacksonville Jaguars?
If I'm the Jaguars, I try to make the move. But if I'm him, I stay as far away from them as possible.
How come?
Well, first, you have to go play in Jacksonville.
That's not so. It's Florida.
That might be the worst city to play in the NFL, though. Like, in terms of fans.
Detroit? Oh, fan base. Got it.
Fan base, franchise.
I mean when they're good, they have a good fan base.
I don't know, man. It's like a military town. It's kind of like San Diego. It's like, not the greatest home support.
Okay. Fair enough.
But if you play for the Giants, you get Saquon, Odell.
Well, I guess Redskins, you get Peterson.
How good would Odell be with Foles? Look how good Alshon Jeffrey is with Foles. Odell Beckham can run all those routes.
Mm-hmm.
I think Odell would be very happy.
Okay.
But the Bears did not.
All right. Well, let me ask one quick thing.
Okay.
What do you pay for Foles?
It's a quarterback market, so he's going to get a lot of money because a lot of teams need quarterbacks. They always do. He's the best one available. You got to give.
What do you guarantee?
You got to give him
$25
million a year at least minimum.
So, how much guaranteed? Like 15?
I'd give him like 4 years, $100 million. That's what I would give him.
That's a lot of money.
What are you going to do?
Well, what if he doesn't prove to be what he is?
I thought you said he's really good.
I'm saying, what if?
Then you go draft a quarterback. I mean, what if
you're out.
Any quarterback doesn't pan out? What if Kirk Cousins doesn't pan out for the Vikings? You know,
well, they're out $84 million then.
There you go. Like I don't know what to tell you. That's just the price. If you got 3 or 4 teams willing to give Foles a ton of money, he's going to be a hot commodity, and he's a quarterback.
Okay.
What did Case Keenum get last year?
I have no idea.
And tell me right now, you think Foles is a hotter commodity than Case Keenum?
Foles is hotter.
Well, that's weird, but
you know what I mean. You said hot commodity.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, so
and he's more attractive. I'm comfortable with my sexuality.
I
am more comfortable with my sexuality to say that.
That's fine. You can say whatever you want. He was given. What was he given? 2 years? No. What was Case Keenum's contract? Do you remember? When he signed?
It was a 3-year contract, I believe. I want to say 3. It was something kind of short, all things considered.
He's going to make $15 million next year, and then no. It was only a 2-year contract. 2-year, $36 million. See, he made 15, and then now he'll make 21 next year.
Okay.
Nick Foles is making $25 million a year for 3 or 4 years, I think. If I was to guess.
Okay.
We'll see. But the Bears did not rule out that they would sign Kareem Hunt. Do you think that this is just a media thing? They just said that they'd be open to it. But the story is the Bears are going to sign Kareem Hunt.
I think it's just a story at the moment. I don't think it's...
They won't rule it out. It's like a media-created story. We'll see. We got to go to break.
Okay, cool.
When we come back, we'll talk about current Super Bowl odds and Clemson's visit to the White House.
All right, cool. We'll be right back right after this.
Check out the show built around the women of MMA. From the UFC to the extreme cage fighting, we got the fights covered.
Listen.
It's the Golden State Media Concepts Women's MMA Podcast. The latest news of upcoming fights, discussions of previous matches. Join us as we talk to and about the biggest names in women's mixed martial arts, past, present, and future. When it's the women's fight game, you know where to listen to. The Golden State Media Concepts Women's MMA Podcast.
Welcome back to the GSMC Football Podcast. We're going to talk about Super Bowl odds, and the odds are kind of make sense. Like Saints and Chiefs are the first two, but the one that really gets me is the Rams are the least odds to win the Super Bowl. The Patriots are ahead of them. Do you agree with that? Yes or no?
Well, one of the 4 teams has to have the lowest odds.
But the Patriots have the worst record of all of them.
Does it matter?
Yes, it does.
Tell me why.
Because it just matters.
Tell me why record matters in this argument.
Because the Rams were just the better team this season than the Patriots.
That may be true, but that's not what the bet is, right? Like you're not asking who's the better team, you're asking who has the best odds of winning. I think that since the Rams have the worst odds, people feel that it's going to be tougher for them to win in New Orleans and then beat the winner of the Chiefs and Patriots rather than the Patriots beating Kansas City, right?
I guess so.
You know that game in Kansas City is supposed to be like -8 degrees.
That sucks.
Who gets the edge in that game if it's that bad of weather?
They're both used to bad weather, so...
Don't you kind of feel like it's the Patriots who get the edge, though? Like the colder it is, the better that they are.
I mean, maybe, but I guess if Adam Vinatieri's not their kicker, get it?
I feel like the colder it is, the worse weather it is, conditions it is, the more it favors the Pats. You know why? Andy Reid's offense relies on a lot of stuff going on. What did the Patriots do to the Chargers? They just beat them in a submission.
Yeah, but again, it's coaching.
Right.
They took advantage of bad coaching decisions.
Are you really on the Andy Reid hype train? You've been on his case the whole year. You're ready to crown him over Belichick?
I am ready. He's not. You beat Belichick once, you're not crowned.
Hold on. But you've been saying that all year that Andy Reid's gonna have a meltdown, and now you're past that. He's gonna beat Belichick.
He has proven me wrong.
He's actually a really good coach, and I think
he's always been a good coach. I've never taken that away from him.
I think that his struggles though are not his fault.
Sometimes, yes. But sometimes it's his coach. Like, if you need to run the ball, he'll sometimes just pass the ball instead, and that'll cost him the game. He's done that before.
His biggest failures, who was his quarterback?
Donovan McNabb?
I wouldn't say that. McNabb, he had some success. They went to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but they went
to
four. Wait, no. They went to 4 straight NFC title games. They've only won one of them.
But, I mean, that team got there. His biggest failures have been with Kansas City, right?
You mean the when they were ahead and they lose?
Like every year.
21-3.
And he was his quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Alex Smith.
Okay, fair enough.
I feel like that's an Alex Smith thing rather than a head coach thing.
Fair assumption. But
Don't you kind of think they overachieved, though, in Philadelphia? I never thought Donovan McNabb was that great. Like, he was a good player, but...
I don't know. That's debatable. But I will say the fact is Andy Reid has proven me wrong this season. And I don't know if I should still doubt him and they keep winning or if I support him and they lose. I don't know anymore. I don't know what to say.
Mm-hmm. So Clemson visited the White House, and due to the government shutdown, President Trump had a array of fast food for them. They had the likes of Chick-fil-A. I think I saw Burger King.
There was Quarter
McDonald's.
Pounders. Yep.
Yeah, there's filet of fish in there.
Wait, since the government got shut down, they couldn't get Wait, I'm confused.
Yeah, like the restaurant, like the staff isn't working. like the restaurant.
How long has this been going on for?
About a month. So, a lot of people are obviously up in arms over this, saying that this is bad look for the president. What is your take on it?
Pretty pathetic, if you ask me. Yeah, absolutely. When one of the Clemson players was quoting saying, "I thought it was a joke when we walked in there and saw fast food."
The quarterback, though, Lawrence, he was happy about it. He loved it. He's on videos talking about how it was awesome. My whole take is there's enough going on in politics to get actually pissed off about. You don't really need to talk about
This is why I
fast
don't
food.
like following politics, because all I hear is the bad news.
Well, like,
Sometimes there's only bad news. I get that.
honestly, there's a lot of things that the president has said and done that can piss people off. But
I agree.
This doesn't need to be one of them. Who cares? He served a bunch of football players some food they wanted to eat.
Yeah.
Pizza. Who cares? Like,
if he served them like cockroaches, I would be like, okay, we got to talk about this. But it was good
I
food.
promise to God, there are more other things to be upset about politicians for than what they served the national champions for food. I actually thought it was kind of funny that they had the whole candlelight thing going on with the fast food on the table. I thought that was really tacky, but like funny, you know?
It's like, hey, look, we're fancy. But I think this is no big deal
Yeah.
whatsoever.
Anyways, we are done.
Yes, thank you so much for joining us. Please tune us in on Thursday for our
Yes.
next football podcast. And we will see you then. Have a good day, everybody.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Football Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network, from movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.